Washington with Empowering Eve, and today we're going to talk about bullying. It's something that happens in life, it's something that happens online, and something that happens at schools. And you're going to hear 3 remarkable stories from women who've overcome bullying and that want to stand up to this awful thing that's happening in our community. Let's go inside. Okay, so we have 3 amazing guests with us today. We have Monica Tipton, and we have Madison Thomas, and we have Cerise Tanvis. And I love all of these ladies for a lot of different reasons. They have their own different stories. And we're going to start with Cerise because she personally hasn't been bullied, but, well, actually you have. Yeah. Because she is on a spectrum of autism, and you never know just talking to her. But then her son has Asperger's, right? Yep. And she was also bullied in school, but then her son was bullied, is continuing to be bullied, and he's only 9. Yeah. And so we'd love for you to share a little bit about what has happened to your son and why you're just very excited about getting this topic out to people.
Well, my son, he was diagnosed with Asperger's when he was in kindergarten, but when he was a little younger, we started noticing some just differences with him. But at the same time, there's a misconception that a lot of kids with Asperger's, they don't want to be social, or they don't, but the truth is they just don't know how. Like, he really craves friends. And he's been doing really great at his, he's in a charter school, and he's been doing really well at making friends up until this year, when it really started became noticeable that there was a difference with him to other kids, and they would double dare, triple dog dare, do these different things with him, and some things that have gotten him in trouble. Actually, even he doesn't realize that that's not how you build a friendship, that they're teasing him, but when he walks by and he's just starting to pick up that these aren't necessarily his friends. They're people that are making fun of him. But his passion is to have a friend, and he just really doesn't understand. So this year he started also picking it up more, and has come home and is crying when he comes home because the kids he wants to be friends with make fun of him, or they tease him, they call him names. And he overreacts because his emotions, he just doesn't have a good control of them. So if a kid calls him a name, he doesn't know how to control that emotion, so it comes out as anger, rage, or extreme withdrawal. He runs away. He will actually go leave the school grounds. He's gotten in trouble for that because he doesn't know how to respond. So we've really struggled this year trying to explain to him socially how to gain friends, how to handle these kinds of situations. And he just actually came home today and said, "Mom, I told them I don't want to be bullied by them anymore," and they said they wouldn't. Oh, wow. Now, will that happen? I don't know, but the fact that he is starting to realize, I have a voice and I can use it, I don't have to run away from the situation. I mean, already it's really important for us to be able to keep teaching our kids that they do have a voice, and it does matter, and they can speak up when other people are tearing them down, and that confidence they have will build them up. So that's why it's really important to me, because not only was I bullied, but also I'm seeing my son really impacted by it so much that he can't even stay at school for a full day right now. He comes home half day because he reacts so poorly after recess. So.
And what happened to you when you were younger?
When I was younger, so I wasn't actually diagnosed as being on the spectrum, so I was just that awkward girl that didn't really fit in with anybody. I didn't understand friends either. So I would try to be friends with the wrong people, and I think just because they were giving me attention, even though it was negative intention, that was them trying to say they wanted to be friends with me. So I wasn't very good about picking the right people to try and be friends with. Yeah. And I ended up actually having people write notes and put it in my backpack saying they were going to beat me up, and it was really crazy. This was 3rd, 4th grade too, and I didn't understand why that was happening. I also struggled. I can't have more than one friend at a time when I was younger. Okay. So if I tried to be friends with one person and it was really hard for me to be friends with multiple people, then other kids would get mad at me for not being their friend anymore. I didn't mean anything by it.
Yeah.
But then they would attack back and say really hurtful things, and I didn't know how to respond. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and how did that affect your self-esteem? Just kind of being in that atmosphere all the time and not feeling like you had that confidence in school.
I thought that there was something wrong with me. And it made me withdraw more. It made me kind of give up on having friendships. My only friends really at school became teachers because I couldn't trust other kids because they were so mean and they didn't understand that I was different.
Yeah.
So, or that I could only really maintain one friendship at a time. That it was just like, why is that off about her? So it really put me in a depression, anxiety. I got diagnosed with depression early on as a teenager and struggled with it throughout life, just trying to understand what makes me unique.
Right.
As opposed to what is wrong with me.
And when were you diagnosed with?
Just 2 years ago, I was diagnosed.
Okay.
Most women on the spectrum, or most girls on the spectrum, don't get diagnosed until they're adults because of the fact that autism, the diagnostic criteria is all based, and all the research is all based around boys. So usually they have no idea when you present with a lot of these symptoms. I just learned how to pretend to be like everybody else.
Right.
I never got to be myself.
Right, which is really big.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, a statistic I was reading is 1 out of 3 kids will actually be affected by bullying. So they'll actually be bullied 1 out of 3 kids. That's pretty high.
That is
And every day, 180,000 children stay home from school from fear of bullying. And, I remember going through high school and middle school, and those were not times I'd like to repeat. But, right? I'm glad I'm an adult. Because you're just stuck with these people. It's like you can't get away from them. At least as an adult, we can not talk to them anymore.
Pick and choose our friends. We can choose our friends because the world is bigger when you're an adult.
Exactly, but you just can't get away from it in school. And then you've got Facebook, which has made things so much worse for so many people.
Keyboard warriors, or whatever they call them.
Cyberbullying.
Yeah, cyberbullying
is so bad.
Yeah.
Well, so have you experienced cyberbullying? Is that part of your story as well?
Yeah, since I'm only 19, I was bullied actually from 6th grade all the way till my senior year of high school, unfortunately. So because I'm more of that younger generation, a lot more of my bullying was done over the internet, and especially used with cell phones. So in 6th grade, I was diagnosed with severe depression and anxiety disorder. And when I entered middle school, I was put into a public middle school. I originally went to a private elementary school, so I hadn't dealt with that many kids before in my life. And the unfortunate thing was I hit puberty at a very young age, so I was way more developed than all the other girls. And because, I had a very large chest in middle school, I had a lot of girls that started spreading rumors about me that really, just really stupid things. I would wear shirts with words on them just to have guys look at my boobs. And they would just say stuff like that all the time. And, because I had big boobs, that I was a whore and I was a slut. And so, the rumors at school got really, really bad, to the point where I didn't feel like I could talk to anyone. And my grades actually started to drop because, I didn't want to go to class. I was not focusing in class because I was just so paranoid of everybody around me. And so then it started to happen on my Facebook page. They would just post on my wall or comment on photos. You're fat, you're ugly, you're a worthless human being, you should just kill yourself.
Oh my gosh.
They even commented
on Facebook?
On Facebook. Mm-hmm. They would even comment on photos that I had with, I was with my family.
Yeah.
And, one instance, I was maybe showing, that much cleavage.
Right.
Not that much. And I had a girl say, showing off, even though you have a muffin top, showing off your boobs doesn't make you a cupcake.
Oh my gosh.
And they would just put that all over
awful.
my Facebook. So I talked to my mom about it and I shut down my Facebook.
Yeah.
But then they got a hold of my phone number. So then I would receive close to maybe 30 messages a day.
Oh my gosh.
And phone calls from blocked numbers.
Right.
And girls would just go off saying I was a bitch and that I was oxygen is wasted on me and I should just kill myself. And I was just I didn't really know what to do. Yeah, it was really bad. So I kind of just shut out everyone. And then my freshman year of high school, there was some other rumor about me going around that like, you know, I slept with some guy, which was like preposterous because I hadn't even like held hands with a guy.
Right.
And pretty soon I started having guys call me on blocked numbers, threatening to rape me.
Yeah.
And yeah, I actually still have one of the voicemails on my phone.
And did you go to the authorities with this, or go to the school, or what did you do about this?
Well, basically what ended up happening is like we tried to go to with the authorities, but like because there, you know, wasn't as much information. Like when we went to the authorities was when I was receiving phone calls like of guys threatening to rape me. That's when we went, but they couldn't really do anything. But like it kind of died down my sophomore year of high school. But then I transferred high schools, and I started attending a new school that was a public charter school, and so most of these kids had actually just grown up with each other, so I was definitely like the outcast and the new kid. And the thing that was really hard is like there was two like classes in my grade. One was the honors class and the other was the non-honors, and I was put in the honors class because a lot of people think I'm a know-it-all and that I think that I'm better than everybody else, but in reality I just really work hard on my studies.
Yeah.
I grew up with strict parents, so it's like, you know, that's just all I've ever known. And so because I was doing so well in my classes, a lot of the people were threatened by me, and they started saying really awful things about me, and like I didn't feel like I could talk to anybody in my class, and it was just really horrible. So I kind of just got to a point where I was like, fine, you know what, I'm gonna ace everything and just stick it to you.
So did you have other friends in school that weren't like this?
I thought I had friends. In the honors class, there was like 5 other girls besides me, but there was a total of 28 students. So there's only 5 girls out of all these boys. But I realized like my senior year that they weren't my friends because one of the girls, we'll call her Betty. Betty started to have a relationship with a guy who in return was very inappropriate with me. It started off with just like really sexual comments, but he started saying like some really bad stuff like get on your knees and suck it, like that kind of stuff. So I like told him, I was like, you know, I don't think this is funny, I think you should stop. And he pinned me up against a wall and said, shut up or I'll rape you.
Wow.
And he did that in front of 13 other students and nobody stepped in.
Wow.
And so it was really bad, but he was telling Betty that she was beautiful and intelligent and that she was like the best thing that's ever happened to him, but at the same time he was calling me his sex slave and all this kind
And
of stuff.
you didn't get in trouble for this at school?
No.
Wow. Even with witnesses?
Nope, because nobody stepped in. So
Nobody said that they saw.
No.
Wow.
No, because they just thought it was a joke. So then like the next few weeks I just did my best to avoid him, but he started showing up outside my classrooms and outside my locker, and he would twist my wrists and grab the back of my neck, and everybody was like, you're just imagining things. And I was like, I don't really think so. When I was coming out of the gymnasium, he grabbed me and I said, I'm not in the mood, and I pulled away from him.
Yeah.
And that's when he shoved me.
Kicking him.
Yeah, no, that's when he shoved me.
Punching him.
Yeah, he shoved me in the library and said, a slave doesn't walk away from her master.
Oh my god.
That's when the assault happened.
Yes.
And I just remember driving home like completely numb, and I walked in and my stepsister saw me and I just like had bruises. And she was like, Madison, what happened? And I like just broke down and I told my parents about what was going on. So they finally had me go to the school and I reported him. But then they didn't do anything for 2 weeks. And so during those 2 weeks, another girl we'll call Becky, she just did not like me for whatever reason. She just hated me. And she started telling people that I had made it up in order to get back at Betty because I wanted him for myself, but because he was in a relationship with Betty, I made up this whole incident and that kind of stuff. So people were like, oh my god, you're such a liar, he would never do that, he's such a good person.
Even though you had bruises all over you.
Well, I was actually hiding them at first.
Mm-hmm.
I was wearing my senior hoodie and I like makeup and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And eventually got to the point where I like took it off and people were like, oh, you weren't kidding. And I was like, no.
Yeah.
So then that's when ties started to change, and the school, because of the severity of the situation, were forced to report it to the police. And with the report, because he admitted to everything,
Yeah.
and with security or security footage, the Aurora police pressed charges against him. And he was still in a relationship with my friend Betty. But Betty took it as me ruining their lives. So I started getting bullied by my friends. They were like, I can't believe you would do this to her.
Right.
You know, you're so dishonest. Bruises will heal. Can't you just get over it?
Oh my gosh.
And I was faced with that for like ever.
Right.
But eventually, part of the reason why they got so angry with me is because the tide started turning and it started going more in my favor because more girls came forward. And they realized, oh, maybe he does have a problem. So after that happened, I was so excited to get away and go to college because I basically just blocked everyone from my high school out of my mind because nobody tried to step in, nobody tried to help me, and they just acted like it was one big joke.
I know Monica has a good story too, because I didn't know that you'd been bullied either until we talked about it. And a lot of times people talk about being bullied for being overweight or being too voluptuous, but you were bullied for being too skinny, which, that's the thing with bullies. They're going to find anything to pick on you about. And it really comes from, of course, their own insecurities. But, so what happened to you?
Well, from a very, very young age, my parents were poor, and I'm okay with that because, they taught me what hard work means, of course. So my parents were really poor, and I had all hand-me-down, ripped up, tattered clothes, and I didn't really care.
Yeah.
I wasn't the typical teenage girl that wore all this makeup and had the glamorous bags and stuff. I was just kind of there with my pink-covered overalls. And I started getting called Beanpole and Twiggy and Stick Thin, and then as I kind of got older from middle school to high school, it changed into more sexual issues because I did develop once I had high school.
Right.
And then it turned into I was Monaho was my nickname
my
for
gosh,
a very long
awful.
time because I was the only girl out of the whole group of girls that I hung out with, all these horrible people, really, that was a virgin. And I didn't lose my virginity until it was taken from me when I was 16.
Right.
So, just in my experience from it, I know I'm skinny, and it sucks. I've had cancer twice. And with us being poor, it was hard to gain weight.
Right.
How you gonna gain weight when there's 12 kids and, we're all fighting?
Oh my gosh.
So I think I'm a better person for it. I still have really bad self-esteem issues. Yesterday was at the mall looking for interview clothes and, work appropriate stuff, and I could not find a pair of dang dress slacks that were under a size 2. And I'm a size 0.
Right.
So that was heartbreaking, crying in the middle of a store to these sales associates that have no idea what's going on. And they felt terrible. But I now can pass on, my knowledge to my daughters, because I have 2 almost 7-year-old daughters, and I can just help them feel better, because both of them are both stick thin. I think it's just a genetics thing.
Right. Yeah.
And they're beautiful.
Yeah.
And they get made fun of too. And I try to help them in any way that I possibly can to overcome the people who badmouth them and stuff without stepping too far into the school and making things worse for them.
So how do you think we can actually change some of this in the schools? Because this is obviously a big deal. Not only does it affect people's self-esteem, but it also affects a lot of people's health. It increases anxiety, increases depression.
I had an eating disorder.
Eating
for
disorders,
years.
that's actually a example of cause of what happens. So how do you think we could actually change this? I mean, is there a possibility that we can change this in schools?
I definitely think so. As a mom myself, my 7-year-old daughter has really bad ADD, and we just transferred from a District 11 school to a District 2 school, and I have been fighting the school and like protesting the school at all costs, because at our other school they were very communicating. You know, if something happened and she was involved, I was called. Yeah, automatically. This school, she comes home with a bloody nose or a black eye from big boys in school.
Oh, wow. So actually physically
her clothes were ripped
wow.
one day from them when they were bullying her about her clothes and how awful they were. And it just, I have been in that school so many times, I swear they all know me by name. Yeah. Because I have a backbone for this sort of thing. Right. And I don't want my daughter to have an eating disorder or to feel like, you know, maybe she needs to steal clothes to be a better person, because I knew girls like that in high school. Kids are mean nowadays. And part of it, I feel, is a product of their raising. Yeah. Really. And then other is the school system, because they say no bullying, we're anti-bullying, you know, we're working to stop this. And really they're not. My daughter has gone to her teacher multiple times, and they tell her to sit down and stop making up lies or excuses when she's sitting there with a bloody nose right in front of their face. So honestly, I feel like if enough of the right people get together and form a group, there is so much more safety in that number. To have a bunch of moms, a bunch of passionate women, you know, come together.
Making a voice.
Yeah, because I know there isn't a very strong one in Colorado. There is in other states, but here it just gets pushed to the side, you know, and it's disgusting.
So the parents, really, getting the parents more involved. Yeah. And then I know for me, I studied martial arts through high school, and that really helped me. My mom wanted me to do that for protection against sexual assault. And honestly, I think we need to teach some of these kids how to protect themselves.
Maybe start up a group.
A support group.
For kids, you know, and help them find their voice. Because nothing's going to change if, you know, they get quiet and all the moms get loud, you know. That's going to make it worse on them.
You're right.
So if they can find their own voice, find their own way to go about it, but with the help of a bunch of stronger, you know, people, then there's no telling what we could do.
Well, because the whole idea of, you know, the survival of the fittest, you know, in any pack or any herd, they take the weakest one and they'll, you know, kill them or whatever. And I feel like that's kind of what they're doing, right? Like in a subconscious way. But if we take the weak and we bring them together with other people, then they're not weak anymore. And they become stronger and they become their own tribe. So, yeah.
I think schools also tend to have, right now with the whole bullying thing, they're almost scared to admit that bullies still exist, because anti-bullying is so big. So they want to say, oh, we're anti-bullying, oh, we do all this. So I have the same experiences right now with my son. He comes home and he says, I don't want to tell the teachers because the teachers just tell me to deal with it. But he doesn't know how. He's 9.
We're homeschooling my son that's autistic because I am so terrified because he's nonverbal.
Yeah.
And for him, he can't even communicate with his sister without like panicking.
Right.
You know, hiding behind me and stuff. He's so terrified of the world. So, I mean, I don't want that to have to be a thing. You know, to have to homeschool my kids because of how messed up the school systems are.
Right.
And how messed up other parents can be, you know, just not paying attention to, you know, what their children do and say and how they act. Right. I mean, we clean toilets at my house. If my daughter comes home with a bad report, it's like, okay, here's a toilet brush, go to work.
Yeah.
It's just very simple. I don't want to raise children who are going to be awful to people.
Yeah. I don't think people are really emphasizing any more consequences as much. I mean, my son, he gets suspended for trying to tell that, like, he runs away because he can't explain why he's having a hard time. And the consequence ends up going on him, and he doesn't understand that. So we need to focus more on that there are consequences for the fact that if you say something to a certain effect that it's going to impact somebody. And people aren't, like I said, I feel like we're putting a curtain around the fact that this still is happening because people are so afraid to admit that it's going to continue happening unless we put better skills in place, unless we actually let kids voice what's going on and work with them and encourage them to stand up for themselves.
No, I totally agree, because especially for kids that are getting bullied, to be able to stand up and speak is courage, but at the same time, for people who don't really understand what it is like to be bullied, they should be able to learn how to listen, and I think that's like the big issue, is people don't know how to listen, because they're so quick to put their opinion, their view on the situation, when in reality, take a step back, analyze what they have to say, look at the situation actually at hand, and go from there, rather than going, oh, you just need to tell him to stop, tell him to stop, and it's like, maybe he's already tried. Let him tell you.
Well, and I also think it's partly building confidence within some of these kids, because you're not going to get bullied if you have confidence. And that's part of it, is that not even focusing on stopping the bullying, but focusing on building the confidence of these kids and not letting it bother them. So I think this has been a really good discussion. I think that we've got some ideas going for how we can actually solve the problem. And with Empowering Eve, we really do focus on females in particular that are going to improve their self-esteem and self-confidence through some of our workshops and fashion shows. So that will be part of our solution too. So thank you for just joining us with this discussion today.
Thank you. Of course, thank you.
Yes. So one of the best ways to combat bullying is to create a community that's a safe zone. And I'm so excited because we are here at Bar Beauty. It is a wonderful workout place in Aurora, Colorado. You're going to meet the owner and how she feels about bullying and how this community can help you. So come on in. Okay, so we're here with Gina Gullion, and she owns Bar Beauty in Aurora, Colorado. And we were just talking about how she is really passionate about fighting bullying in schools. And when people come to her studio, they are safe. She's very passionate about helping women feel good in their bodies, creating a community where we can bond together and really enjoy each other. And she's definitely anti-bullying. So Gina, can you share with me, what experience have you had with someone being bullied in your studio or just in life in general?
I mean, I think it's an overall kind of a life situation that we're all dealing with, no matter age or, situation, from grade school up until, very older age. I think it's very important to create that atmosphere here, and that's my biggest goal, is to have a place for my clients to come in and just feel like, themselves, and have a place to turn to, and when they feel down at their lowest after being bullied anywhere, any kind of situation. So I'm really passionate about that, and I really want to kind of let them know that, this is a place that they're not judged or, being ever bullied at, or, any of the negative stuff kind of is left at the door. So.
And what do you do here at the studio?
Well, outside of just our, really highly effective classes, bar classes, and all the, events that we throw, we also have, nights that we do just specifically around certain events, like we do meal prepping and outings, we do hikes, kind of bringing, the groups together, just to make a little bigger community for, to get involved in and just have fun and bring fitness and, positivity and everything together in one place, kind of. Yeah.
That's great. So people build friends.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And what is the age group of people who can come?
Oh my
here?
gosh, we have, any age group. Moms and daughter teams are really popular. So, as long as your kiddo is over 12 years old, you can sign a waiver and bring her to class. And then there's no age group gap on our older girls. So we have, my oldest clients, I believe, is 81. So she's kicking butt in
That's so awesome. I love it.
Yeah, she's amazing. So, there's no, like I said, judgment or age, or you don't have to be a dancer or be super athletic. It's all fitness levels, and yeah, just a place for them to kind of come in and try it all out.
That's great. And how would someone find you?
We are actually located in South Aurora, E470 Smoky Hill. We're at 6140 South Gun Club Road in Unit K4. And our website is www.barrebeauty.com. That's BARRE, the word beauty, and then .com.
Great. Well, I'm excited to see you class sometime. So I think we'll come back and film that.
Yep.
And so thank you for just sharing your passion
Thank you.
for helping women, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much for watching Empowering Eve, and we hope you're inspired to do a little bit more to stand up for bullying in schools and in your community. And we want to share a little bit about Cerise's Cards for Autism. So do you want to talk about that real quick?
Yeah, Cards for Autism is a new project that I just started to really empower not only individuals on the spectrum who are either having a hard time or maybe they have a birthday coming up, and a lot of kids on the spectrum, they never have anybody come to their birthdays. So it's a way for you to connect and do something by sending some support through the mail, just by sending them a greeting card.
Oh, that's wonderful. How can they reach you if they want to participate in that?
So you can go online to www.cardsforautism.com, or you can also find us on Facebook at Cards for Autism.
That's a great idea. I love that. So I hope you enjoyed today, and remember to love each other. Bye.